All right? So that's how they speak great things. Read that again.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
Read on.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool.
Now, you know that verse proves that the Most High is not a puff of smoke.
Right.
All right? For our people out there, like, oh, he's a puff of smoke. No one knows what he looked like. Daniel 7:9.
Benelux. I'm sorry, Benelux. It was Benelux. Benelux is the Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. That's what they're called, Benelux. That was it. Then I think France overthrew these 3, which is all the same area. But France overthrew these areas: Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg. Then France took over, so it was a bunch of fighting among themselves. It's called Benelux. But then America came along and said, we taking over. That was it. That's that fat, stout horn. Okay? So now, I'm sorry, you want to finish up?
No, I'm good, D.
All right, so let's go to where we at?
We just did verse 22.
Yeah, Daniel 23 also.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The Daniel 8:1.
Daniel chapter 8 and verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after the which appeared unto me at the first.
Right, so now remember the first vision of Daniel 7 was Belshazzar's first year. Now he gets another vision during Belshazzar's 3rd year ruling, his 3rd year. This is before he died in chapter 5. Go ahead.
And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw, that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam. And I saw in a vision, and I was by the river Ulai. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns. And the 2 horns were high.
2 horns are high in this ram. Go ahead.
But one was higher than the other.
One horn was higher than the other horn. One horn on top, one low on the bottom. Go ahead.
And the higher came up last.
And the higher horn came up, it grew out last. So the little horn came first. Go ahead.
I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him.
The reason why the higher horn came up last is because of that bear. Remember, the weight was on one leg. That's the higher horn. And the leg lifted up, that's the lesser horn. But that horn came first because the Medes came up first. But then the Persians came after and grew bigger, stronger. Go ahead.
Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will and became great.
Right, so now the Lord is showing another analogy of this kingdom, a different beast attribute regarding its empire, referring to Persia. Medo-Persia, go ahead. So Medo-Persia in this instance is, well, let's get it. We'll get there. Go ahead.
And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth.
Then a he-goat show. So this is a ram with 2 horns. Now here comes a he-goat coming. Go ahead.
And touched not the ground.
And he didn't touch the ground because he was traveling far and fast. Go ahead.
And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
And that goat had a notable horn, a big horn between his eyes. Go ahead.
And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power.
Rammed him. Go ahead.
And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him.
You threw a collar against him. He hated, that goat hated that ram. Go ahead.
And smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns.
Hit him and knocked the 2 horns out. Go ahead.
And there was no power in the ram to stand before him.
So the goat knocked him out. Go ahead.
But he cast him to the ground and stamped upon him.
He began to indoctrinate that ram. The goat stomped his doctrine, policies upon that ram. Damn. Go ahead.
And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
And the goat ruled over the ram with broken horns. Go ahead.
Therefore, the he-goat waxed very great.
That he-goat waxed very great. He waxed great. Watch this.
And when he was strong,
when the he-goat was strong, go ahead.
The great horn was broken.
That horn that was great broke, fell off. Go ahead.
And for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven.
And out of that horn came up 4 notable ones. That's the 4 heads of the leopard. So the Lord showing Daniel another vision regarding those same beasts again, but different beast attributes. So rather than be a bear or a leopard, now it's a ram and a goat. Just like you read about the 4th beast in certain passages in Daniel, the beast attribute is missing. But Ezra gets an attribute. It's an eagle. In John, it's a dragon, but it's the same beast. Same beast, referring to the same people. Go ahead.
And out of one of them came forth a little horn.
And out of one of them, this great goat here, okay, so there's 4 notable ones. Out of those 4 notable ones came what?
A little horn.
That little horn, that's Antiochus. That's Antiochus right there. This is the 3rd beast here, not the 4th. But like the 4th beast, this has a little horn also. Why? Because it's the same people. Same attributes. Go ahead.
Which waxed exceeding great.
Which gained power. Go ahead.
Toward the south.
Toward the south.
And toward the east.
East.
And toward the pleasant land.
Israel, our land. Go ahead.
And it waxed great.
And it waxed great. Go ahead.
Even to the host of heaven. And it cast down some of the hosts.
Host of heaven is us. We're the host of heaven. Go ahead.
And of the stars to the ground.
Us, Israel. Go ahead.
And stamped upon them.
And Hellenized us. Stamped upon means they pushed their policies upon us. Their politics, their philosophies, their religion, they stamped it upon us. When something is stamped inside of you, what happens? Like you get a stamp and you stamp something, you're impressing something in the person. You're placing a mark on the people. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him the daily sacrifices was taken away.
I'm going to read about that. Go ahead.
And the place of his sanctuary was cast down. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. And it cast down the truth to the ground. And it practiced and prospered.
That's all I want, because I don't jump ahead. That's going into the Greek. So give me Daniel 9. 9 and 1.
Daniel chapter 9, verse 1.
I'm only reading this because these are things that were shown to Daniel during the time when Belshazzar was still alive. His first year of ruling and his 3rd year of ruling, Daniel was shown these visions. So this is still in conjunction with Babylon, but that's why I'm reading it. But it's going in too much detail ahead of the captivity we're in now, which is Persia. So I'm going to stop here and revisit this again when we're in the Greek captivity. All right? But this time is going into the Maccabees and so forth. I don't want to jump ahead and confuse myself as well as the audience, because this is a bit advanced. Daniel 9 and 1.
Daniel chapter 9, verse 1. And the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, of the seed of the Medes.
So Darius, this Darius right here is Darius of the seed of the Medes. Okay, go ahead.
Which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans.
Babylon, go ahead.
In the first year of his reign.
In the first year of Darius the Mede. Go ahead.
I, Daniel, understood by books the number of the years, wherein the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years.
That we would accomplish 70 years.
In the desolations of Jerusalem.
So Jerusalem would remain desolate for 70 years. Daniel understood by reading the books of Jeremiah that we would be in captivity in Babylon for 70 years. That's 609 to 539. 609 to 539 BC is 70 years approximately. 609 is when King Josiah was killed, the Battle of Carchemish, or the Battle of Megiddo. That marked the end of Assyria's reign pretty much. Assyria pretty much fell at that point during that battle. Okay, during the Assyro-Egyptian war with the Babylonians, they got squashed, they got smashed. That's 609. Okay? That's when Babylon pretty much took over. Nabopolassar took over. By 539, it was a wrap. Babylon then fell. Okay? That's 70 years. Go ahead.
Verse 3. I set my face unto the Lord God to seek by prayer and supplications with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed unto the Lord my God and made my confession and said, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him and to them that keep his commandments, We have sinned and have committed iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled, even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings, our princes, our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day, to the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off.
Israel that's living in the land, and those who live in far off lands. Go ahead.
Through all the countries whither thou hast driven them.
Far off. Go ahead.
Because of their transgressions that they have transgressed against thee.
Because of their trespass that they have trespassed against thee. Go ahead.
O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of faces, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee.
Go ahead.
To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God, to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants the prophets.
Go ahead.
Yea, all Israel have
All who?
All Israel.
Yea, all Israel. Go ahead.
Have transgressed thy law.
All Israel, both kingdoms, all 12 have transgressed thy law. Go ahead.
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
Go ahead.
And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done unto Jerusalem.
So under the whole heaven, there's no nation on earth that underwent the captivity that we went through. No nation underwent that. The slavery, the slave ships, scouting abroad, no nation underwent that but us. Our nationality being stripped from us being scattered over the world in ships and so forth, the Middle Passage, no other nation's plight or captivity compares to ours. None. Our slavery is exclusive.
That's right.
Okay? All over the world. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
So you know we're the children of God. Go ahead.
As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, yet may we not our prayer unto the Lord, before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. Therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works which he doeth, for we obey not his voice.
Go ahead.
And now, O Lord our God, that hast brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and hast gotten thee renown as it is this day. We have sinned, we have done wickedly.
Jump up to verse. Hold on.
Hey, man, you adding on words too, man.
Oh, damn, I missed it.
Hold on a second. I want to read here.
About to get your favorite song.
Oh, man.
Now I'm going to stop here because it goes into Rome, the 70 weeks and all of that. So I'll stop there. Give me, we'll revisit that also. Give me Daniel 6:1.
Daniel chapter 6 and verse 1. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom.
It pleased Darius. Go ahead.
And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them.
Now this Darius is Darius the Mede. Okay, this is Darius the Mede here on Daniel 6. Read again.
It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first.
Over these 3 presidents is referring to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Who were thrown in the fiery furnace, that's the 3 presidents. Daniel was the first over them. Okay? Hold on. Read verse 1 again.
Verse 1. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom.
So it pleased Darius. This is Darius the Mede, known as Cyaxares II. This is Darius the Mede, also known as Cyaxares II. That's what this is, Darius the Mede. Now, give me Bel and the Dragon, verse 1.
Bel and the Dragon, verse 1.
Hold on a second. Let me get there with you.
Yes, sir.
Hold on a second. I'm just trying to follow. One sec. All right, go ahead.
Bel and the Dragon, verse 1. And King Astyages was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus of Persia received his kingdom.
Astyages is Darius' father. Astyages is Darius' father. Darius the Mede's father. That's who this is. This is King Cyrus's family on his mother's side. Okay, mundane. Okay, mundane. All right. I believe yeah, Cyrus's this is Cyrus's grandfather. All right, that's what it says. Astyages is Cyrus's grandfather on his mother's side. This is his mother's father. Okay, and Darius, I believe, was her brother. So Darius is his uncle, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Cyrus's grandfather, mother's father. Yes, I wrote that down. I had to write that down because these names are very confusing.
Right.
So Astyages is Cyrus's grandfather on his mother's side, because Cyrus's family, the Medes and Persians, intermarried. Okay, so his mother was a Mede as well. I believe Darius the Mede is the brother of Cyrus's mom. Okay, so Astyages is pretty much a grandfather. All right, so read again.
Bel and the Dragon, verse 1. And King Astyages was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus of Persia received his kingdom.
Now, when Astyages passed on, Darius was allowed to rule. Cyrus allowed Darius to rule. So this is still tying into Darius the Mede's history in Daniel 6:1. Okay, read it, please. Bel and the Dragon.
Verse 2.
No, the top, the very top.
Oh,
history
yes, sir.
of the destruction. Go ahead.
The history of the destruction of Bel and the Dragon,
What's it say?
cut off from the end of Daniel.
Cut off from the end of Daniel. So this is just showing you this took place. This was cut off from the end of Daniel. This is part of the book of Daniel. Read on.
And King Astyages was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus of Persia received his kingdom. And Daniel conversed with the king.
The verse of Darius the Mede. Go ahead.
And was honored above all his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel, and there was spent upon him every day 12 great measures of fine flour, and 40 sheep, and 6 vessels of wine.
Hold on, do I want that? Hold on a second. Make sure I'm going the right way.
Damn, they spent all that on the idol.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on.
Hey, Officer Jazz, they do that in Christianity.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I'm going to show you Christianity in here. I'm going to show you Christianity. Christianity's in here. I'm going to show it to you.
They definitely do.
Christianity is in here. I'm going to show it to you. Hold on. Yeah, read on.
Verse 4.
We're going to stop at verse 28.
And the king worshipped it, and went daily to adore it. But Daniel worshipped his own God.
So it says, now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel. Okay? So the Babylonians, when the Medes and Persians overthrew Babylon, they maintained the gods or worshiped the gods of the Babylonians. They worshiped their gods. So it's basically the landlord. Basically, the one landlord conquered the other and took over where he left off. And the same gods are worshipped again. Okay? So it says the Babylonians had an idol called Bel or Baal. Same thing. And they're like Beelzebub. Same God. Same thing. Beelzebub. It's the devil. This is the devil here.
They just changed the names.
They just changed the name. Well, shorten it up. Like Belshazzar.
Right.
You understand? Baal. It's all the same. All right? And Bel, they were spent, what? Read verse 3 again.
Verse 3. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel, and there was spent upon him every day 12 great measures of fine flour, and 40 sheep, and 6 vessels of wine.
A lot of money for an idol. Go ahead.
And the king worshipped it, and went daily to adore it. But Daniel worshipped his own God. And the king said unto him, Why dost not thou worship Bel?
So Darius said, how come you don't worship this God? Babylonian God Bel. Go ahead.
Who answered and said,
Daniel answered and said what?
Because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living God, who have created the heaven and the earth, and have sovereignty over all flesh.
Yeah, I worship a real God. I don't worship a God made by hands. This is the freaking idol. Go ahead.
Then said the king unto him, Thinkest thou not that Baal is a living God? Seest thou not how much he eateth and drinketh every day?
This idol eats. We give him oxen and sheep, and he eats the food. What are you talking about? He's living. He's alive. Go ahead.
Then Daniel smiled and said, O king,
Daniel smiles. Oh, king. Go ahead.
Sarcastic.
be not deceived.
Don't be deceived. Go ahead.
For this is but clay within and brass without, and did never eat or drink anything.
No, that's a lie. Go ahead.
So the king was wroth and called for his priests and said unto them, If ye tell me not who this is that devoureth these expenses, ye shall die.
So he goes and calls to the priest. Yo, man, listen. Y'all better tell me who's eating this stuff, because I thought the idol was eating it and someone else is eating it. Y'all better tell me who this is. The priest. Go ahead.
But if ye can certify me that Baal devoureth them, then Daniel shall die.
If you can prove that this idol's eating these things, I'll kill Daniel for lying to me, lying on this God. Go ahead.
For ye have spoken blasphemy against Baal. And Daniel said unto the king, Let it be according to thy word.
Daniel said,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, Daniel kept it real, man.
Yeah, Daniel said, well, that is what it is. You want to kill me? All right, whatever.
Verse 10. Now the priests of Baal were 70.
70.
Beside their wives and children.
Uh-huh.
And the king went with Daniel into the temple of Baal.
So remember, they would drop the food off in the temple and close the doors. Open the doors, the food is gone. He ate everything. He ate it all, right? That's the thought. And the priests were 70, and they had beside their women and children. Go ahead.
So Baal's priest said, Lo, we go out, but thou, O king, set on the meat and make ready the wine, and shut the door fast, and seal it with thine own signet.
So that no one can open it. Go ahead.
And tomorrow when thou comest in, if thou findest not that Baal have eaten up all, we will suffer death. Or else Daniel that speaketh falsely against us.
So listen, go in there, put the food in there, and then close the door and seal it so no one can come in. And when you open the door again and see the food's been eaten, Daniel's doomed. He's lying on us. Go ahead.
And they little regarded it.
They didn't take it serious. They didn't take Daniel seriously. Go ahead.
For under the table they had made a privy entrance,
For under the table, they had made a little secret door. Go ahead.
whereby they entered in continually and consumed those
And
things.
they ate the food themselves.
Feasting.
They were in there eating with their wives and children. They were eating the food that the king provided for the idol. They're eating it. Exactly. Go ahead.
So when they were going forth, the king set meats before Baal. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes,
And I said, Daniel said, bring some ashes. Go ahead.
and those that strewed throughout all the temple in the presence of the king alone.
And only the king saw Daniel take ashes and sprinkle it all on the temple floor. Go ahead.
Then went they out
Then they left. Go ahead.
and shut the door
Uh-huh.
and sealed it with the king's signet, and so departed.
Go ahead. Verse 15.
Now in the night came the priests with their wives and children, and they were wont to do
As they were wont to do.
as they were wont to
As
do.
they were accustomed to doing normally. They would normally come out the little trap door, eat the food, and go back in the trap door again, like no one was there. Go ahead.
and did eat and drink up all.
And drink everything. Go ahead.
And the morning betime the king arose, and Daniel with him. And the king said, Daniel, are the seals whole? And he said, Yea, O king, they be whole.
Yep. No one came in here. Doors aren't open. Go ahead.
And as soon as he had opened the door, the king looked upon the table and cried with a loud voice, Great art thou, O Baal, and with thee is no deceit at all.
Great is the God of Baal. You ate the food. I knew you were real. Go ahead.
Then laughed Daniel.
Daniel laughed at that. Remember, the king told him, yo, if I come back and find this food and drink consumed, I'm going to kill you, Daniel. And Daniel is laughing. Watch this. Read on.
Then laughed Daniel and beheld the king that he should not go
He
away.
said, wait, king, don't walk in there. Wait. Step back. Go ahead. Watch this.
And said, Behold now the pavement.
You can look at the floor. Go ahead.
And mark well those footsteps are and mark well whose footsteps are these.
Whose footsteps are these? And they threw ashes on the floor. So when they came up there eating and all that, their women and children were eating, you saw little feet all over the temple floor from the ashes. Go ahead.
And the king said, I see the footsteps of men and women and children, And then the king was
He was
angry
mad because he realized he's a setup, bro.
He played himself.
Congratulations. You
Played yourself. Exactly. Go ahead.
and took the priests with their wives and children, who shewed him the privy doors
So they showed him how they came in. Go ahead.
where they came in, and consumed such things as were upon the table. Therefore the king slew them,
Damn, he killed the men, women, and children. Go ahead.
and delivered Baal into Daniel's power, who destroyed him and his temple.
He destroyed it. Go ahead.
And in the same place there was
and in that time, in that same place,
Yo, it's your last time, bro.
damn.
Damn, I
and
did
in
it again?
And in that same place, go ahead.
Oh snap! And in that same place there was a great dragon, which they of Babylon worship.
Another idol. Go ahead.
And the king said unto Daniel, Wilt thou also say that this is of brass? Lo, he liveth, he eateth and drinketh. Thou canst not say that he is no living God. Therefore worship him.
So this is an actual animal. This is a dragon. It's an actual lizard, whatever. This is real. It's alive. I got a Komodo dragon like that. Go ahead. A beast. Go ahead.
Then
A
said
lizard. Go ahead.
Then said Daniel unto the king, I will worship the Lord my God, for he is the living God. But give me leave, O king, and I shall slay this dragon without sword or staff. The king said, I give thee leave.
Go ahead and leave. Go ahead.
Then Daniel took pitch and a fat and hair, and did seethe them together, and made lumps thereof. And he put in the dragon's mouth.
This he put.
This he put in the dragon's mouth. And so the dragon burst in sunder.
Dragon blew up. Go ahead.
And Daniel said, Lo, these are the gods ye worship.
Yo, Daniel made a little bomb.
You made a bomb. Damn. This is the God you worship, a God can blow up. Come on, man. Come on. Get Daniel 6 now, 1-4.
Daniel chapter 6, verse 1. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm.
Damn, go ahead.
Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom.
I'm sorry. I forgot I said Christianity and Bound the Dragon. How is that Christianity? I forgot. It's in my mind. Probably because I keep messing up. It threw me off. All right, so this is how this is how it's Christianity and Bound the Dragon. You know how you tell your children that Santa Claus came. Oh, sell up milk and cookies for Santa Claus.
Right.
And your parents will come and eat and drink the milk and eat the cookies eat them and say, oh, Santa came. It was Santa Claus. He did it. It's the same thing.
Wow.
Same
Yeah,
exact
that's
thing.
the first half. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same exact thing. Same exact thing. I don't know what the hell that was.
I don't know what that was.
Yo, don't play that one again, all right?
Well, it's the same exact thing.
But that's
Their parents come, they wait till you sleep, or they'll go under your pillow, pull the tooth out and put a quarter under your pillow and say, oh, the tooth fairy came.
Right.
And put it there.
Same lies.
It's the same lie, the same deceit.
Damn.
All for idolatry. Same thing. We all experienced. Most of us experienced it.
Right.
I didn't do the whole thing, milk and cookies thing. I didn't do it, but I know people who have. They put milk out and warm milk out and cookies, and their parents would go and sneak downstairs and drink it and eat it and go, oh, Santa came. Look, your gifts are here under the tree.
Right.
You're like, wow, Santa came. Meanwhile, you have no chimney. You're in the projects.
Yep.
It's a lie.
Never put the two together.
The difference with me is when I was younger, I caught my parents. I ran in the room and cried. I creeped through the door. I see them with the gifts, wrapping them up. I'm like, and I ran and cried like a little girl. It was terrible, man.
Damn.
Because I was lied to for so long. And I found out that it was them. I was like, yo, this is messed up. I was little.
What is this?
But I remember it. I was damn near almost traumatized. I was like, I was lied to. You know, so I learned about Santa Claus being fake early, but when I got the Nintendo, I was like, I'm good.
Yep.
I started playing Mario. I forgot all about Santa. I said, that was Santa. This is Nintendo? Well, this is crazy.
Hey, Deke, I remember you always bring out when you bring up about Santa Claus, why would our parents go through so much? You working overtime, working 8 hours,
Right,
10 hours.
Giving all your honor to a white man that don't even exist.
Don't make sense.
You working 9 to 5, doing double shifts, working holidays,
Yes, sir.
part-time holiday
Right.
jobs, just to afford to buy your children all these gifts, only to tell your kids, oh yeah, by the way, it wasn't me. It's a fat, white, invisible nigga that climbing on the chimney that doesn't really exist with a fake wife and a North Pole and reindeer. Don't make no damn sense. Vixen, Donner, Blitzen, whatever the hell their names are.
And then you struggling to pay rent next month.
Yep.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Nonsense.
Hey,
This is
Deacon.
white supremacy all over again.
Hey, Deacon, same thing what you said. I actually went at my grandma's house, was looking out the window, waiting for him to come.
Yeah, me too.
He never came.
Never came.
I thought he broke down or something.
Nah, the thing, I thought he got robbed. When I lived there, I thought he got robbed or beat up and they stole the gifts.
It's crazy because now they appreciate more a fake image of a white man rather than the parents.
Right.
And now when they grow up, they have no respect towards the parents.
Right, exactly.
Right.
The parents are liars. What time is it? 2:30? About to be 2:30. I'm gonna take a quick break. And those of y'all during the break, y'all can, if y'all want, y'all can text any questions regarding the class or questions during the class. You can reach us text us at 267-702-6121. Once again, text us at 267-702-6121. All right, regarding the topic at hand, not anything else, just the topic. All right. So with that, just stay tuned. See you soon. See you in about 5 minutes. I'm Result of Christ Bless. I'm not here by UIC Philadelphia. Tune in to Our Hidden History Radio, where we go into deep understanding the history of who we are, according to the Bible, hidden artifacts, archaeology, and geography, or you can think of that shrouds around our history of the Bible and go into it in depth. Israel, like, subscribe, comment on our YouTube channel, Our Hidden History Radio. See you then. Shalom, Most High Christ Bless.
Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Know it. History, history.
I tie my laces and walk adjacent to Father's patience. Right next to Satan, the sin lies, they call me Raymond. Can't grow complacent, my heart is racing, the Lord is waiting. I follow in his footsteps, it's not complicated. I've been living in this hell, so I gotta make it. This could be my only chance, so I gotta take it. Brothers been tripping for too long, so I've been walking face up through the mud with my boots on. And I'll be damned if I do wrong. I just hate when the news on, cause all I'm seeing is depression and oppression all up in their face. And they wanna give up on a day by day. Just know the Lord, he is making a way. So if you keep in the faith, hold your head high, it's gonna be okay. And I don't even feel no more. My people getting killed, it's getting really real. And they don't wanna live on, no. It's cause of the sin, why you always gotta die on the block? Why sisters always gotta cry on the block? The moms feel the pain when I walk, I walk. And she hates how I talk, why you talk like that?
On my true sides. See the block is getting too high. Times running, don't need a new watch. They fell for the do-out. That thing. I really, really wish you knew that you have been through all these extreme things. I'm trying to figure out what happened to you and me things. Trying to figure out what happened to unity, man. I'm flipping on the news and hear the blues when I see things. I see hatred all around. Fighters and murders with a frown. My brother in a puddle on the ground. Like what the hell he gon' do now? When everything is going south, remember who you are, pick up your car. My people feel no more. Feel no pain when they kill no more. Do you feel how I feel this hard? No.
and I don't even feel no more. My people getting killed, it's getting really real, and they don't wanna live on, no. It's cause of the sin, why we always gotta die on the block. Why sisters always gotta cry on the block. And mama feel the pain when I walk, how I walk. And she hates how I talk, why you talk like that, like that. Feel no more.
Brothers and sisters, hear me. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. I believe, therefore have I spoken. I was greatly afflicted as all of you are. As it is written, I would not have you to be ignorant concerning them which are asleep in death, that you sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring again with him. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore, brothers and sisters, let us comfort one another with these words. In the name of our Lord and Savior we say, Amen.
Miss you, miss you, miss you, miss you, yeah. Miss you, miss you, babe. It may be long, but not forever. Missing you from the day I gone. Crying don't even stop the pain. But judge our words keep me strong. I won't see you again. Missing you from the day I gone. Crying don't even stop the pain. But judge our words keep me strong. I will see you again. One time for the fallen soldiers, 3 times for the fallen soldiers. So now for the fallen, for the fallen. 1 time for the fallen soldiers, yeah. 3 times for the fallen soldiers, yeah. So now for the fallen, for the fallen. Big up to Barack, big up you, big up yourself, cause you a star. One while you come, while you see in Spanish back a feel a fight, see it and in the war.
This brother right here is Barack Bar. He's been here diligent every single day, right?
Huh?
You been here every day?
Except Sunday.
Except Sunday, but every day.
Every day.
So tell me, how's your experience here?
What's my experience here?
Yeah, how's it been?
Just do what I gotta do, that's it. That's my experience.
Prophesy, our city and I come soon. There's enough traitors I try power with we. Them I try play man like guitar, but man spiritual, I'm sitting from afar. We are meet up in the sky. When Christ come, we are fly high. ready and I'll come soon. Israel, don't worry yourself, don't cry. Just look up in the sky. Salvation drawn I tell Babylon goodbye. We are go see them again, link up with me righteous friend them. Missing you from the day you're gone. Crying don't even stop the pain. But Jaja words keep me strong. I will see you again. Missing you from the day you're gone. Crying don't even stop the pain. But Jaja words keep me strong. I will see you again. One time for the fallen soldiers. One time, three times for the fallen soldiers. Three times, so now for the fallen. Yeah, for the fallen. One time for the fallen soldiers. Yeah, three times for the fallen soldiers. Yeah, so now for the fallen. Yeah, for the fallen.
I feel the pain for my brother, let me walk. His brother passed away and him not take it back. But even if him could have talked to you, he would have make you know say everything is all well. Me feel the pain for me, Aliyah. Me feel the pain. They lose Caleb and Joshua. It break me heart. We gotta stay in the faith so we can see them one day.
Oh yeah, for the fallen. Oh yeah, for the fallen. Oh yeah, for the fallen. For the fallen. One time for the fallen soldiers. Three times for the fallen soldiers. So now for the fallen. For the fallen. One time for the fallen soldiers. Three times for the fallen soldiers. So now for the fallen. For the fallen. For the fallen. For the fallen.
It's not up to me who you take away. I know that one day I will walk with the fallen. Life is a walk and death is a calling. Them in a rest, can't hear me bawling. When we meet, we never plan the parting. Me have faith in a God for the rising.
Faith for the rising, yeah.
Immortal is your memory. The prophecy them comfort the family. God take the innocent from atrocity. You them can't pressure with no vaccine. Striving and watching, praying, yeah. One time for the fallen.
Missing you from the day you're gone. Crying don't even stop the pain. But Jaja words keep me strong. I will see you again. Missing you from the day you're gone. Crying don't even stop the pain. But Jaja words keep me strong. I will see you again. One time for the fallen soldiers. Three times for the fallen soldiers. So now for the fallen. For the fallen. For the fallen. One time for the fallen soldiers. Three times for the fallen soldiers. So now for the fallen. For the fallen, yeah. For the fallen. For the fallen. Missing you. It don't stop the pain, no. Me go see you again now, yeah, yeah. For the fallen, yeah. For the fallen.
IUIC is my family and like the best family that I've ever had. That's it really.
What club was that at?
That was admit that a lot of people don't even realize they.
I've called her. She hasn't responded. I've called her more than a few times.
With the Zulu Nation, I'm like, what the hell is this? I know nobody know what I'm talking about. You'll leave me on the island by myself. I don't know what the hell Bishop's talking about. That's what y'all do. Then after class, yeah, I knew what you were talking about. I just don't want to be caught out there. The hell is this? Get on my damn nerves. So read that again, 31.
Yeah, here we go. Turn me up in my headphones. Yeah, look.
You are now flying.
Look. They don't want the smoke now, they don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke now, they don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke, nah, they don't want the smoke. Been about the power, you can call me Ghost. I've been in a maze for 7 days. Esau running plays, I left the stage. He ain't got no answers, they killed the Panthers. None of the prophets back and we ain't taking ransom. My leaders fight for vengeance, they gon' marvel when my cap come. And if he got 2 readers, it's just like he busting 2 guns. Y'all falling out for suckers, and that's why y'all look like dum-dums. And if you speak in Hebrew, then just know we been a quan-quan. We Debo, teach your black like Nino. This sheep been lost, we finna fish, I guess we find it Negro. Y'all be faker than placebos, throwing shots like Tebow. And if we ever take a shot, just know that it's a free throw, it's a free throw. They don't want no smoke, nah, they don't want no smoke. They don't want the smoke, nah, they don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke, nah, they don't want the smoke. Been about the power, you can call me Ghost. Tryna scoff with me, boy, what you thought this shit was sweet, boy? We be teaching like Messiah, give me that and Obadiah. He gon' set this place on fire, then come set up his empire. They be high, wearing wires, switching up like the survivor. I'm a soldier, Bible on my holster. I wanna build you up, but if you scoff, then I'm a vulture. But I'd rather keep it kosher, like I told you. Give all praises to Jehovah. Frankincense on my aroma, meditate while we take over, we take over. They don't want the smoke, nah, they don't want the smoke. They don't want no smoke, nah, they don't want no smoke. They don't want the smoke, nah, they don't want the smoke. Been about the power, you can call me Ghost. They don't want the smoke, nah, they don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke, nah, they don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke, nah, they don't want the smoke. Been about the power, you can. 144 Thanos, we was snapping till chains broke. Warrior mode like Django, build a kingdom like Lego. Vanity, vanity, what was all vanity? Lord, give me power to burn out my enemies. Vanity, vanity, what was all vanity? Wisdom like Solomon, fight like the Maccabees. They don't want no smoke, nah, they don't want no smoke. They don't want the smoke, nah, they don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke, nah, they don't want the smoke. Been about the power, you can call me Ghost.
Good vibes in the area. Well, man, I fight from the start. I mean, no carry grudge in the heart. Hatred make you turn for your people. Wise up, I feel be smart. DJ, turn up the vibes from the start. Ring tune, pull it up, celebrate cause we no carry grudge in the heart. We no carry grudge in the heart. Everybody feel right. Good vibes in the place all night. Cause we don't carry grudge, we people. We don't have time for your study, no evil. Don't make them catch you with the bad energy. Smiling on your face, but me I tell like them my enemy. How many times you try to cure them? I fi cut them out, that are the only remedy. Everybody go through things. We not perfect, so we don't do the blame game thing. Know this trial's gonna come one day. I fi endure, adapt me a sing. Any function must clean, then step out, peel out, jump in a car, tire screech out. GPS it off, put in the route. Dream team touch the scene, everybody scream out. Wait up, turn up the vibes from the start. Ring tune, pull it up, celebrate cause we no carry grudge in the heart. We no carry grudge in the heart. DJ, turn up the vibes from the start. Ring tune, pull it up, celebrate cause we no carry grudge in the heart.
Energy them not real, them a fake. Cut the grass low so we get to see this snake them. Pass the cutlass, give me the rate. And a long time I don't tell us that the whole of them a fake. Them can't hold me down, cause it's a party night. Good vibes in the air, tonight me feeling right. But about not hypocrite, but about not parasite. Them not show themselves for day, but them come out tonight. Them a vampire, I run from the light. Them just remember every day, them spirit no right. Them a combine evil, too much idle time. Whatsoever
All right, we're back. We are back. We're back. All right, back from the break. Our praises.
All right.
Yeah. So read the question now. The comment.
Yes, sir. Question. Shalom, leadership. Most High in Christ bless you all. In Isaiah 46:1, where it mentions Bel, is this the same Bel from Bel and the Dragon?
Yes. Same exact idol. Same thing. Yep. But you had names like Belshazzar. Belshazzar. Remember Daniel's name was changed to Belteshazzar. It's the same Bel. You have like Marduk. Marduk is the same as Bel, and you have like Marduk, Merodach, Baladan, Merodach, Marduk, Baladan. You have Mordecai. That's the Babylonian name, Mordecai. Well, sort of, because there's a derivation in it. You have what is it? Nabu, like Nabu's a god. Nabu. I believe there's a Marvel. There's a Marvel hero character villain. It's Nabu. Like Dr. Fate, that's the same. Nabucodonosor, Nabopolassar. Their name, the guys is in their names. You know, so yes, it's all relative. All right. Where you going? Where we going? What do I want? Read verse 4. Daniel 6 and 4.
Yes, sir. Daniel chapter 6 and verse 4. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could not find none occasion nor fault. For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him.
Right, he was innocent. Now, I'll read on.
Verse 5. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God.
So we can't find fault in him regarding us, but we can find fault regarding his religion. We'll use his belief against him. Go ahead.
Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius.
Matter of fact, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Go to Bell and the Dragon real quick. I left something out. And read verse 28.
Bell and the Dragon, verse 28.
This is after the dragon, the lizard burst. He blew him up. Go ahead.
When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation.
They mad. Go ahead.
And conspired against the king, saying, the king is become a Jew, and he hath destroyed Baal. He hath slain the dragon and put the priest to death.
So at this point, the kingdom is in an uproar because he killed. So now they're saying this guy's following. He's following Daniel now. He's become a Jew. He's following Daniel now. Okay, so stop there. Now continue reading down. Daniel 6 again.
Yes, sir. Daniel chapter 6, verse 6. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom and governors and princes, the counselors and the captains, have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it be not changed, according to the law of the Medes and Persians.
According to the law of the Medes and Persians, because the Medes were ruling at this point. So according to the law of the Medes and Persians, the Medes are ruling now. Go ahead.
Which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions?
Set up right there. Go ahead.
The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Mede and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these things, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him.
He tried to help Daniel, go ahead, because they were cool. Remember that? They had a relationship because of that old bell and the dragon. Go ahead.
Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king establisheth may be changed.
Right there. Stop right there. Get verse 29. Bell and the Dragon, verse 29.
Bell and the Dragon, verse 29. So they came to the king and said, deliver us Daniel, or else we will destroy thee and thine house.
So remember, he was trying to save Daniel. So he said, deliver us Daniel, or we're going to destroy you and your house. Go ahead.
And when the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them.
Hold on. Wait. I'm trying to get in order. Go to Daniel 6:16. Going back and forth.
Daniel chapter 6, verse 16. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel.
There you go. See, it's just tying together. Go ahead.
And cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den.
Damn.
And the king sealed it with his own signet.
So no one can move it.
And with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel.
Right, Daniel got to be killed. Hold on. Go to Bell and the Dragon, verse 30.
Bell and the Dragon, verse 30. Now when the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them.
31.
Who cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days.
Stop there. Go Daniel 6:18.
Daniel 6, verse 18. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went before him.
He couldn't sleep because he liked Daniel. Go ahead.
Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions?
Stop. So can your God save you? That was verse 20, right?
Yes, sir.
Go to Bell and the Dragon, verse 31.
Bell and the Dragon, verse 31. Who cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
And in the den there were 7 lions.
7 lions.
And they had given them every day 2 carcasses and 2 sheep, which then were not given to them.
So they starved the lions on purpose for Daniel. Go ahead.
To the intent that they might devour Daniel.
Right. So the lions did not eat for 7. Wait, is it? 7 days, 6 days. 7 lions. They didn't feed them on purpose, so they can kill lions. Kill them. Go ahead.
Verse 33. Now there were in jury a prophet called Habakkuk.
Here we go. So now there was in jury a prophet called Habakkuk. Okay, now Habakkuk is the actual Habakkuk of the Bible. Habakkuk the prophet. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Who had made pottage and had broken bread in a bowl and was going into the field for to bring it to the reapers.
Go ahead.
But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, Go, carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon unto Daniel, who is in the lion's den.
Mm-hmm.
And Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon.
Because remember, the Babylonians left the poor in the land. Habakkuk was the poor. So they left him alone. He said, I ain't been to Babylon before. How am I supposed to bring him food? Go ahead.
Neither do I know where the den is.
I don't know where the den is. I don't know what Babylon is, and I don't know where the den is. Go ahead.
Then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown.
Go ahead.
And bare him by the hair of his head.
Grabbed Habakkuk by the hair of his head, picked him up in the air. Go ahead.
And through the vehemency of his spirit.
And fast, quick, a burst of speed. Go ahead.
Set him in Babylon over the den.
Set Daniel in Babylon over the den. Damn. He was in the damn speed force for like a split second. Damn. By a hair of his head. The angel grabbed him by his hair. You been doing this the hard way. Grabbed him by his hair and took him there. Go ahead.
And Habakkuk cried, saying, "O Daniel, Daniel, take the dinner which God hath set thee."
Please take
this food, man, so I can go home.
Yeah, right.
My head hurts.
You don't know what I went through.
My scalp hurts. Just got to put my hair out. Go ahead.
And Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O God. Neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniel arose and did eat. And the angel of the Lord set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately.
That's teleportation. Teleportation. He was teleported from one place to another within an instant by the hair of his head. All right. What verse is that?
Verse 39.
Go ahead, 40.
Upon the seventh day, the king went to bewail Daniel. And when he came to the den, he looked in, and behold, Daniel was sitting.
Daniel was alive. The lions didn't. 7 lions was in that den, starved. They did not eat Daniel at all. They didn't come near him. Go ahead. Oh, wait. Go back to Daniel 6 again. Daniel 6:21.
Daniel chapter 6, verse 21.
Read it, verse 23.
Yes, sir. Oops. Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel, and have shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me.
Damn.
For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt.
Go ahead.
Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God.
Damn. Okay, go to Bell and the Dragon, verse 41.
Bell and the Dragon, verse 41. Then cried the king with a loud voice, saying, Great art thou, O Lord, God of Daniel, and there is none other beside thee. And he drew him out and cast those that were the cause of his destruction into the den.
Damn.
And they were devoured in a moment before his face.
Damn, they got eaten immediately after because they were hungry. So the Lord held their hunger for those guards. They had Daniel set up and killed.
Wow.
All right, go to Daniel, what was that, 42? Go to Daniel 6:24.
Daniel chapter 6, verse 24. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. And the lions had the mastery of them, and break all their bones in pieces. Over them, they came.
Or ever they came.
Take your time, man.
Ever they came at the bottom of the den.
As soon as they got in the bottom of that den, them lions tore them men, women, and children up. Tore them up. Tore their behinds up, boy. Crazy. Read on. Read verse 28.
Verse 25. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree.
Watch this.
That in every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who have delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius.
So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius the Mede. Go ahead.
And in the reign of Cyrus the Persian.
His nephew. In the reign of Cyrus the Persian, who ruled at the same time. This is a co-regency. All right? Because Cyrus was the main king. Darius was under him. All right? During the reign of Cyrus the Persian, he prospered in this rulership. Now, get me what I sent y'all, Nelson's Bible Maps and Charts. We're gonna go to page 234. Nelson's Bible Maps and Charts. All right. Read that real quick. We're gonna try to speed read through this, Jess.
Yes, sir. 3 of the most famous stories in the Bible recorded in the book of Daniel: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace, the handwriting on the wall at Belshazzar's feast, and Daniel in the den of the lions. Yet, beyond these stories, the book is a mystery to many, recording dreams, visions, and their interpretations, which are difficult to understand. The central message of God's power and ultimate triumph is clear, however, and is as relevant today as it was in the time of Daniel. The name Daniel means God is my judge.
Right, Danya, Yah's God, judge is Dan. Go ahead.
And the book is named after the author and principal character. Author. The authorship and date of Daniel are 2 of the more contested issues in the field of biblical studies.
So the authorship of the day of Daniel are 2 of the more contested issues in the field of biblical studies. Watch this.
See date, page 236. Daniel claimed to write this book, chapter 12, verse 4. And he used the autobiographical person from chapter 7, verse 2 onward. The Jewish Talmud agrees with this testimony, and Christ attributed a quote from chapter 9, verse 27 to Daniel the prophet. Matthew chapter 24, verse 15.
Right. Christ read from the book of Daniel also. He cited from Daniel's book also. Watch this.
Daniel was a Jewish youth of noble birth, carried off to Babylon in the first captivity under Nebuchadnezzar in 605 BC.
Right, he was noble birth because he came out of the line of Hezekiah, King Hezekiah. Go ahead, the princes, go ahead.
He became a member of the Babylonian royal service early in his captivity and spent most of his career as a high-ranking advisor to Nebuchadnezzar.
Right, that's what the lion stood upon his feet as a man because it gained counsel from Daniel. Go ahead.
Nebuchadnezzar's successors seem to have given Daniel less prominence.
They didn't like him. Go ahead.
But after Babylon was conquered by the Persians, Daniel achieved considerable importance again under King Darius.
The Mede. Go ahead.
Daniel is one of the few well-known biblical characters about whom nothing negative is written. His life was characterized by faith, prayer, courage, consistency, and lack of compromise. This greatly beloved man, chapter 9, verse 23, chapter 10, verse 11 to 19, was mentioned 3 times by his 6th century BC contemporary Ezekiel as an example of righteousness.
Right, Ezekiel mentions him in 600 BC. He mentions Daniel as well, okay? Because they went into captivity at the same time. Not at the same time, but one after the other. Now go to 236 now. Watch this.
Babylon rebelled against the Assyrian Empire in 626 BC, overthrew the Assyrian capital of Nineveh in 612 BC, and became master of the ancient Near East when it defeated Egypt at the Battle of Carchemish in 605 BC.
609, not 605. But go ahead.
Later that year, the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar subdued Jerusalem and took prominent citizens of the city as hostages to Babylon, a group that included the young Daniel. Daniel ministered for the full duration of the Babylonian captivity as a prophet and government official. And he continued on after Babylon was overcome by the Medes and Persians in 539 BC.
Right.
His prophetic ministry was directed to the Gentile courts of Babylon and Persia, as well as to his Jewish countrymen. Zerubbabel led a return of the Jews to Jerusalem in the first year of Cyrus, and Daniel lived and ministered at least until the 3rd year of Cyrus.
So yeah, Daniel was around during Zerubbabel's time. He was around for a minute. So you had Cyrus, Zerubbabel, and Daniel, and Joshua. Go ahead.
536.
No, I'm bugging. You had Zerubbabel, Joshua, and Daniel during Cyrus's time. Go ahead.
536 BC, chapter 10, verse 1. Taking the statements of the book at face value, Daniel's book would appear to have been written by the 9th year of Cyrus, 530 BC.
That's the time frame he wrote it. Go ahead, watch this.
Largely because of the extensive visions in Daniel concerning the empire, which succeeded the Babylonian Empire, and a conviction that that predictive prophecy is impossible.
Wait. So this is largely because of the extensive visions in Daniel. So it's saying he most likely wrote his book during the time of the Persians, right? It says largely because of the extensive visions in Daniel concerning the empires which succeeded the Babylonian Empire, and a conviction that predictive prophecy is impossible. So people are arguing Daniel's dates of writing it because people who study Daniel or the Bible don't believe in God. So they're pretty much like, okay, well, when did he write this? Because if he wrote this before it took place, then there's a God. There's prophecy, and prophecy is real. That's why it says conviction that predictive prophecy is impossible. Watch this. So these dates are met with by secular minds, meaning non-religious minds. Watch this.
Many critics have argued that Daniel is a fraudulent book written in the time of the Maccabees in the 2nd century BC.
So many critics who don't believe in God have argued that Daniel is a fraudulent book written in the time of the Maccabees in the 2nd century, okay, 200s BC, not in the 6th century as the book claims, which goes along the lines of Persia, 600s, right? Read on.
There are, however, strong reasons for accepting the 6th century date.
However, there are strong reasons for accepting the 6th century date as opposed to the 2nd century date. Watch this.
The argument that predictive prophecy is impossible.
The argument that predictive prophecy is impossible, meaning prophecies is not real. That's what they're saying. The scholars, quote unquote, are saying prophecy is not real. This book was written long after Babylon and Persia and Greece, and so it's written as if he spoke about it before they came into power.
You better shut your mouth.
Exactly. That's what they're trying to do. Watch this.
The argument that predictive prophecy is impossible, and therefore that the sequence of empires depicted in chapters 7 and 8 was written during the 2nd century BC period of Greek domination.
So they're saying that the chapters of Daniel 7 and chapter 8 of the he-goat and the ram were written during the time of the Greeks, not before. Watch this.
Involves a dogmatic rejection of the supernatural.
Involves a dogmatic rejection. Dogmatic means religious. Religious rejection of the supernatural. So these arguing of these dates or arguing of Daniel's book is based upon people who do not believe in God, but yet somehow they're Bible scholars.
Atheists.
They're called secular Bible scholars. Go ahead.
Furthermore,
this
argument for a 2nd century date assumes that the four empire nations depicted are Babylonia, Media, Persia, and Greece.
Right, go ahead.
It is apparent, however, that Daniel speaks of a combined Medo-Persian empire.
Right, so he says, it is apparent, though, however, that Daniel speaks, so they're saying that furthermore, this argument for a 2nd century date assumes that the four empire nations depicted are Babylonia, Media, 2, Persia, 3, Greece, 4. But that's wrong, because it says here, it is apparent, however, that Daniel speaks of a combined Medo-Persian empire. Remember, the bear stood on one side. This means it's a dual empire, or the ram that has a horn, 2 horns. And one came up after was larger. That's a dual empire goat or ram, right? Ram. Go ahead, watch this. So it can't be Babylonia, Media, Persia, and Greece, because Media, Persia are one beast. The second one, go ahead.
Chapter 5, verse 28. And that the description of the 4th empire fit Rome.
Stop. So he goes, but this is the example of the description of the 4th empire fits Rome. Go ahead.
Which achieved dominance long after the alleged 2nd century BC. Date of writing rather than Greece.
Right, so even if the 4th beast would still give room for prophecy, because if the book of Daniel was written during the Greek captivity, Greek period, then you can negate Babylon and Persia. But how do you explain the explanation of Rome, which came way after? Yep. Huh? How you do that? Right. They're terrible. Read again.
Although it is claimed that the Aramaic portion of Daniel, chapters 2 to 7, is what?
Read although it's claimed. Read it again one time.
Although it is claimed that the Aramaic portion of Daniel, chapters... Go out some. Thank you. Although it is claimed that the Aramaic portion of Daniel, chapters 2 to 7, is late Aramaic.
Stop on. Although it is claimed that the Aramaic portion of Daniel is late Aramaic. Late Aramaic. Go ahead.
Recent studies have shown that Daniel's Aramaic is...
Recent studies have shown that Daniel's Aramaic, what he wrote in the Bible, his book in Aramaic, go ahead.
Is actually an example of early imperial Aramaic.
Stop. Daniel's Aramaic is an example of an early imperial Aramaic, meaning that those who, the noble of our people, wrote a special kind of Aramaic. Because he was of the king's line. So the Aramaic that they wrote in was slightly different from the common Aramaic. He wrote an imperial Aramaic, which is only found during what time? Watch this, read.
A form consistent with a 6th century BC date.
So imperial Aramaic existed during the 6th century BC, not 2nd century BC. So if Daniel wrote the book of Daniel was written in imperial Aramaic, it had to have been written during the time of Persia, because that's when it existed, before the Greeks. So that validates that the book of Daniel was written before Greece and Persia, Greece and Rome, giving validation to what? Prophecy.
That's right.
Read on.
A form consistent with a 2nd century BC date. In addition, the presence of fragments of the text of Daniel among the Dead Sea Scrolls, fragments which apparently date to the Maccabean period, does not allow sufficient time for a work supposedly written in the Maccabean period to have become widely accepted as scripture.
There was no time. It would have been too much of a short time to accept it as scripture. In order for it to be accepted as scripture, it had to have gone to an earlier date. Because between the time of Greece and Rome, that's a short time. It wouldn't have accepted it as scripture if it was written in such a short time. But if it was written earlier on, like when Daniel read Jeremiah, that was way earlier. It would be accepted as scripture because it came way before, not during the time of the Greeks. Read on.
Though some argue that there are historical errors in Daniel,
there are none. Go ahead.
And that these errors argue for a late date, recent evidence has demonstrated the historical.
Next one. The historical what?
The historical accuracy of Daniel. While some questions remain.
Some doubts remain regarding prophecy and of a true God. Go ahead.
None pose an inseparable difficulty for
None pose an insuperable difficulty for a 6th century date. Mean nothing can negate the book of Daniel was written during the 6th century. Nothing. Nothing. All right? So the book of Daniel is a book of prophecy, and they've come across evidences that substantiate that fact. It was not written during the time of the Greeks. It was written during the time of Persia, during Cyrus's reign, period. Based upon the imperial Aramaic it was written in, because Daniel came from an imperial line. All right, now, where we at? Daniel 6, 20, sorry, it's a Persian. Where we stop at? 28?
Yes, sir. We stopped that in the chapter, yep.
All right, Daniel 6 and 28. Yeah, he reigned, prospered in Darius. Okay. Get me Isaiah 44, 28.
Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 28. That saith of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and shall perform all my pleasure, even saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built, and to the temple thy foundation shall be laid.
So Isaiah mentions Cyrus years before he's born. How do you explain that? Isaiah spoke of Cyrus 150 years before he was even in existence. He said he shall be the one that allows Jerusalem to be built again. Damn. 150 years before his existence. Explain that.
We'll wait.
Where's the maybe Isaiah wrote in different languages. It was written during the time of the Greeks. No, it's not. Give me Isaiah 45 and 1.
Isaiah chapter 45 verse 1. Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden, to subdue nations before him. And I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut.
And I'll give him power. So once again, he mentions Cyrus again by name twice. Give me, jump to verse 14 in Isaiah 45.
Isaiah 45 verse 14. Thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt.
1.
And merchandise of Ethiopia.
2.
And of the Sabians,
3.
Men of stature.
They're very tall.
Shall come over unto thee.
Unto thee is the Persian Cyrus. Go ahead.
And they shall be thine.
And they shall be what?
And they shall be thine.
Go ahead. You'll have them in your mouth. Those are the 3 ribs in the bear's mouth in Daniel 7. Those are the 3 ribs in the bear's mouth in Daniel 7. The 3 ribs in his mouth is Egypt, Ethiopia, and the Sabians, which are a sect of Ethiopians themselves. Okay? Sabians would be your Somalians today. Hamites. Egyptians, Ethiopians, and Somalians are huge. They're very, very tall. Not these fake-ass Egyptians today, them white Arabs over there, them Turks over there. No. The real ones. The Sudanese, the real Sudanese. The Hamitic Sudanese. That's the Egyptians. Okay? Nubians, whatever. Egyptians, very, very tall in stature. Ethiopians, very tall in stature. And Sabians, which are Somalians, very tall in stature as well. Go ahead.
They shall come after thee, and chains they shall come over.
He'll subdue them. Go ahead.
And they shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, surely God is in thee, and there is none else. There is no God.
There's no God but you. So I'm referring to Cyrus. Because remember, the Persians refer to themselves as kings of kings, Lord of lords. The kings. The Persians did that. Get Daniel 7 and 5. Daniel 7 and 5.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side.
And it was one side stronger than the other. Go ahead.
And it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it.
Egypt, Ethiopians, and Sabians. Go ahead.
And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld.
That's all I want. That's all I want. That's referring to Persia. That's the Medo-Persian Empire that Daniel spoke of, being joint rulers. All right? Now, get Daniel 11, verse 1.
The book of Daniel, chapter 11, verse 1.
You're gonna try to finish this up. Yes. Verse 2. Then we're gonna go to the pamphlet. Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 11, verse 1. Also I, in the first year of Darius the Mede.
See that? Also I, Daniel, who wrote this, in the first year of Darius the Mede. Okay, this is the son of Astyages. Okay, the brother of Cyrus's mom, Mundane. All right, read again.
Also I, in the first year of Darius the Mede.
It's the same Darius the Mede that spoke with them about Bel and the dragon, that was thrown in the den of lions and so forth, whatever, had him thrown in the den of lions. It's the same Darius the Mede. Go ahead.
Even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him.
Confirm and strengthen him. Okay, verse 2.
And now will I shew thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia.
Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia. Go ahead.
And the 4th shall be far richer than they all.
And the 4th will be the richest Persian king in history of all of them, out of all the Persian kings. Go ahead.
And by his strength.
And by the 4th strength. Go ahead.
Through his riches he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia.
He shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. That goes into Alexander, and that goes into the Spartans too. The Spartans also. I went over that in Walk with the Giants class. I'm not going over that again. That was a lot. Walk with the Giants. You can find your time to watch that in your own time. The 4 Persian kings. Give me the Persian captivity pamphlet. I want page 17. The Persian captivity pamphlet, page 17.
Persia was the mountainous plateau to the east of the lower Tigris, Euphrates Valley. The Persian Empire was larger than the Babylonian and Assyrian empires, extending eastward to India and reaching westward to Greece.
That's where they're from, India. Go ahead.
Its capital were Persepolis and Susa. As a world empire, it lasted 200 years, 539 to 331 BC.
Now Alexander took over 200 years, right? As it says?
Yes, sir.
200 years. Read on.
The Medes and Persians ruled jointly.
They ruled jointly. Go ahead.
Sometimes called the Persian Mede Empire because the Persian became greater.
Right. So it was initially called the Medo-Persian. When Cyrus took over, it became the Persian Medo Empire. Go ahead.
Read Daniel 7 and 5. 3 main Babylonian strongholds they overthrew were Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sabia. Read Isaiah 45:14.
Right, we read that earlier. Rogers. The Persian
kings were Cyrus.
Blow it up some more. Can you make it a little bigger? And move it over. Move it over. There you go. Move it over some right there. Make it off. Try to make it fit. Make it fit. Make it fit.
Right
there you go.
The Persian kings were Cyrus, 538 to 529 BC.
Right.
Conquered Babylon and allowed the Jews to return.
Right, that was one.
Cambyses.
The second. Cambyses the second. Go ahead.
529 to 522 BC. Stopped work on the temple.
Yes, he did.
Darius the First, 521 to 485 BC.
Darius the First, the Persian. That's Darius the Persian, not the Mede. Okay, this is Darius the First, the Persian. Go ahead.
Authorized completion of the temple.
Right, that's after the 2 years. Watch this.
Xerxes, Ahasuerus, 485 to 465 BC. Esther was his queen.
That's Xerxes the First. That's the 4th richest of all the Persian kings. No one's richest superseded his. He was the richest. Or Xerxes the First. When you watch the movie 300, that's him. Who Esther was married to. That is him there. Xerxes the First, also known as Ahasuerus. Okay, that's a title that many of them share, but he's the most popular one in terms of wealth and power.
He called himself the God King.
The God King. He's the one that pissed Greece off.
Damn.
Okay, where the Spartans went against him. Alexander after that went after him, and he was successful. We lost. He was successful. He had Leonidas and all of them. We was in Greece also. All right, he smashed us. But Xerxes right there, that's Xerxes the First. He's the 4th that Daniel spoke about. Read verse 2 again.
Daniel chapter 11, verse 2. And now will I shew thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all.
Xerxes the First. Go ahead.
And by his strength, through his riches,
his strength and his money, the God King, go ahead.
He shall stir up all against the realm of Greece.
Start a war with Greece. He started a war with Greece. Earth and water. You've seen the movie 300. Right. Earth and water. All right. So, got you. Let me see. Do I want that one verse? Let me see. Do I want that? Go to 2 Chronicles 36. 2 Chronicles 36, 17.
2 Chronicles, chapter 36 and verse 17. Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary.
This is about Babylon. Go ahead.
And had no compassion upon the young man or maiden or old man or him that stooped for age. He gave them all unto his hand.
Babylon. What? Hold on. Go to Ezekiel 8 now. Ezekiel 8. Real quick. I'm backtracking for a moment regarding Babylon. Remember, Ezekiel mentions Daniel as well. These are contemporaries. Ezekiel 8, Ezekiel 8, chapter 8, top from the top.
Yes, sir. Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I sat in mine house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of the Lord God fell there upon me. Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire, from the appearance of the loins even downward, fire, and from his loins even upward, as the appearance of brightness, as the color of amber. And he put forth the form of an hand, and took me by a lock of my head.
Damn. Go ahead.
And the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me into the visions of God to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh toward the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy.
That's the Lord. Go ahead.
And behold, the glory of the God of Israel was there, according to the vision that I saw in the plain. Then said he unto me, Son of man, lift up thine eyes now the way toward the north. So I lifted up mine eyes the way toward the north, and behold, northward at the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy in the entry. He said
Idol. Go ahead.
He said furthermore unto me, Son of man, seest thou what they do, even the great abominations that the house of Israel committeth here, that I should go far off from my sanctuary? But turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations.
So he's showing Ezekiel. It's like he's showing Ezekiel what Israel's doing behind closed doors in secret in the temple. Go ahead.
And he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. Then said he unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold, a door. And he said unto me, Go in, and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beasts, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel.
The elders, go ahead.
And in the midst of them stood Jehaziah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand. And a thick cloud of incense went up. Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark? Every man in the chambers of his imagery. For they say, The Lord seeth us not. The Lord hath forsaken the earth. He said also unto me, Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz.
Damn, worshiping Tammuz, a baby god. Go ahead.
Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abomination than these.
Go ahead.
And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house. And behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord.
Damn.
And their faces toward the east. And they worshiped the sun toward the east.
They worshiped the sunrise rather than toward the temple. Go ahead.
Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? It is a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here. For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch of them to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury. My eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in my ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them.
Right, so this is the beginning of how Babylon came and took over. I'm only going here because I didn't want to leave without mentioning Ezekiel being a prophet as well, along with Daniel, regarding the fate of Israel before Persia took over. What I'm going to stop there for now. I'll stop there. We'll continue, Lord's will, next week. So hope you enjoyed the class. Hope you got something out of it. Lord's will continue next week. This lesson further into Persia. And, I want to give shout outs to the breakfast team. Shout outs to the IT team. Go praise to the Lord. Any announcements? Abadan?
Yes, sir. Hey, Israel, let's give Deacon a hand again for that class. That class was amazing. All praise to the Lord. Everyone here has been waiting for this Persian and Mede series. It's going to be great. Deacon has a lot of stuff coming out. So, Israel, if you like what you see, you can always donate to help us find more and more books for Deacon to bring out for all Israel. You can donate on PayPal to iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. Once again, iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. Also, don't forget to follow us on YouTube on Our Hidden History Radio. Make sure you hit the notifications button so you know when we go live, all right? Also, you can check out past episodes. Whatever Deacon that's going over from season 1 all the way up until now is on that channel, all right? Also, don't forget to donate to the Booster Club on iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org on PayPal. Once again, iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. You see where your donations go, all right? I think that's it.
All right, so then, see you next week. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Most High in Christ bless.
Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, history. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I always thought that the world's tallest people were in Holland and Latvia. And then I came to the country of South Sudan, and I can't even touch the top of their head.
Now we going back, Peter on my back for sure. When I let the truth go, we gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them down for the road. The Lord Almighty made me, Lord I got it changed me. We can see the truth now, I got them looking crazy. Man, I'm always searching, yeah. You hear I'm searching. You hear me, boy, 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 I'm searching. Yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way.